Welcome back to TBRD. As you can see, it is dark out. Well, almost dark out. The sun has set. I wanted to do a quick video today, show a couple of settings on the TFT on this 2020 BMW S1000XR. I had some questions on a video I posted recently about the TFT and how it was at night. So I wanted to come out, shoot a quick video with that, and I thought it'd be a good time to do a short video on some top 5 things to keep in mind while you are riding at night. So we're gonna pull over here so I can shoot this TFT. Alright, so take a look at this TFT. I had some questions about, is it distracting at night? And as I said in the last video, but I really wanted to get out here and show it, it absolutely is not. Here's the TFT. This is set on its absolute brightest setting. And if you hit this menu button here on the left, you get into the menu. And if you scroll over to settings, and then you wheel down to display, hit your little wheel to the right, you'll see brightness is at 100% right now. So it doesn't bother you at all. Brightness at 100% is perfect. But if you don't like it for some reason, you can go ahead and turn it down. So there is 80%. Sorry, my shield's fogging up here, sitting here without moving. And 80%, that's what it looks like. It's 60%. You can see it's getting dimmer and dimmer. So you can take it all the way down to 20%. And if I get out of it, that's what it looks like. I just keep it at 100% all the time because I think it's perfect and I have no issues with that. So yeah, reading the TFT at night is absolutely not a problem. It's as clear at night and not distracting at all for me as I'm driving. So I do want to step off here for a second. Put this kickstand down. Oh, the short side stand, as I complained about in the 5 things I don't love about this bike. Whew, quite a lean, which maybe you'll see that when I get off here. But what I want to show you is the lights on this bike. So if we take a look, you can see we've got 2 auxiliary LED lights, and boy, those babies are bright. And we're going to talk about that as we get going. And then we can show you the high beams on that bike. Ooh, I gotta close my eyes. I don't know how that's coming through, but wow, I think I just burned my retinas. So there's your high beams. Remote key, not in range. It's not possible to turn on the ignition. Nope, remote key back in range. Problem solved. Alright, let's get out of here. Go for a ride. So I mentioned in a previous video, I don't do a lot of riding at night. Mostly because my commute for my job, I can get done pretty much in the daylight hours for the most part till you get to the funny time of year. Then it'll be a little bit dark in the morning and the evening. But there's some obvious barriers to riding when it's dark out. The first, most obvious thing is that you have less visibility. And when you have less visibility, it is inherently more dangerous. You can't see all the potholes in the road. If there are animals or any sort of hazard, it is much harder to spot. So when we're thinking about visibility and riding at night, it's important to not outride your headlight. And a lot of people don't know what that means. So it's pretty basic. When we're talking about not outriding your headlight, you want to be traveling at a speed that you can stop for anything that you can see. So if you're traveling faster than the stopping distance for the illuminated part of the road, you're putting yourself at risk because you won't be able to stop if a deer jumps out in front of you and you can't see it, but you're traveling so fast that your stopping distance is longer than the illuminated portion of the road. And that's, kind of the second thing I think about when I'm riding at dark, in the dark, is usually there's a lot more animals out and about, especially during that dusk time, kind of like right now. It's getting a little bit darker past dusk, but deer, especially around where I'm at, there are deer everywhere. which, you know, last thing I want to hit on my bike is a deer. Whee! So yeah, two things to keep in mind there. I also find, right, probably just kind of common sense, when you're riding at night, typically, right, if you've gone out too much at night, that's kind of when you'll see a few more of the partying types who might be drinking. So sometimes you are likely to see more drivers driving impaired. The statistics actually back this up. They back it up too for motorcycles. Almost half of the motorcycle fatalities after, I forget what time it is, it's like 8 or 9 p.m. I forget the exact time on the statistic, but it's just under half of motorcycle fatalities after that time, whether it's 8 or 9 p.m., involve riders who are impaired. So, you know, for me, I don't drive my bike at all when I'm drinking. If I'm going to go out and have a couple of drinks, I'll take my car. My bike demands too much from me for me to want to be impaired. So that's something else to think about when you're riding at night. The other thing you need to really think about is your gear. So I ride, you've seen me plenty of times in my video with my showy GT Air helmet, which is white, green, and red. And that white really reflects. I'm also wearing a different jacket today than I typically wear in the warmer climate. I'll have my mesh jacket on. I've got a different jacket on. It's a little more insulated because it's cooler out, but also it's got a very reflective strip on the back of it that lights right up. Bikes in general aren't always the most illuminated. I will say BMW does a good job at that. The LED lights on the back of this bike are absolutely fantastic. I didn't walk around behind it, but I will do that before the end of this video to give you a shot of what those look like at night. They're very, very bright. As you can see, the auxiliary lights, very, very bright. And we're going to hit the high beams here when we get around some of these vehicles. And it illuminates very far. So there's your high beam. Turn that off when these folks are coming at us. We'll see if we can find a better stretch to show that off. Another thing to think about with your gear is a lot of riders ride around with tinted or smoked visors. That's another thing I absolutely love about this helmet. It's got the interior visor that you've probably seen me in other videos click down, so I'm never really stuck out with a visor that's tinted once it's getting dusky or dark out. That's going to cut down on your sight lines immensely. Never a good thing. I like to make sure that my shield's very clean on a regular day, but especially riding at night. I find all the bugs and stuff that'll hit it. For me, whatever reason, maybe it's the ambient or car lights, it makes it worse at night in terms of my vision. One of the things that I've picked up on riding at night is I really, like these cars in front of me, I'll kind of keep an eye on them and see if they're moving in a certain direction to avoid things. You can tell a lot of times when you're following cars at night, you can get a real good sense. Like if you're on a rough stretch of road, I get this on the interstate a lot, where you get those like high-speed dips. It might be almost imperceptible for you on the motorcycle, but if you're following someone and you watch them, you can see the whole car kind of bounce or dip like it does with the suspension. And I find that helps me when I'm riding at night, especially if I'm on the interstate doing some traveling. I get a real good sense for the bumps and things in the road, and just kind of gives me a little bit more comfort in terms of being able to see things. We're going to try to turn off up here and get into some back dark roads, hopefully not encounter any of the deer I previously spoke about. Alright, let's do this. Down into the park. So I just take it easy at night. I'm not really taking aggressive lines at all. For good reason. It's hard to see. Alright, we'll get up here. We'll get away from all these street lights. And as we get down into the park, it'll be pretty dark. And we'll go ahead and... here's your regular beam. There's your high beam. The high beam on this bike is fantastic. talk about sight. I had mentioned in the 5 things I don't really like about this bike, I was put off by the fact that here in the States, there's a nice bug on the windshield. Here in the States, the adaptive headlight, BMW didn't have their certification in on that, so it's not equipped with it, even though it comes with the package that should have it. I will say though, my last bike had an adaptive headlight, and it's nice, or a cornering headlight as they say, but it doesn't truly illuminate all the way through a turn. So even, you know, if you're driving through a turn, you're looking through it, I'm still having a tough time if the road's not lit up, even with those adaptive headlights. So, you know, it's not really a make or break feature. Like I said, it was just kind of one of those annoying things because you paid for the package with it on there and didn't get it. But you can see with these high beams, things are very well illuminated. Yeah, so there's just some general things to think about when you're riding at night. This is just a short vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope if you had questions about that TFT at night that this vlog answered that. You can see, not distracting in the least. There's some deer right there. Right there off to the right. Hello. So that's exactly what we're talking about. We don't want to hit those guys. So anyways, as I was saying, I hope this video answered the questions for those of you out there who asked me some questions about the TFT at night. And I hope you enjoyed it. As always, I'd ask that you like and subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate the support. Enjoy interacting with everybody on these videos. I appreciate it. Until next time, keep the throttle back, the rubber down, and enjoy the ride.